Hello, everybody. Welcome to Rambling RunOff. I am your host, Robert Rios, here with you today to give you the sports news I think you need to hear. Yes, here at Rambling RunOff, a sports podcast. Yes, thank you for joining us today for this wonderful podcast we got here where we talk all sports, we ramble all day and run on forever. And to join me to talk all sports right now is my good old co-host, Mr. Danny Tan. Danny, say what's up to the people.
What up, y'all? It's been a while.
Yes, I know it's been a hot minute, and on today's table of sports news, we're going to be talking U.S. Men's National Team, Nations League, Gold Cup update, NBA draft, NBA news, NBA Cup, ? We also got the Home Run Derby down in the warm-up, and if you stay out until the end, we have the rundown where we talk about any other little sports news that we did not get to in this episode. But yes, thank you for listening. I know it's been a little while. Both of us had a lot of stuff to do on the past couple weeks, and then we had a holiday this past week in the U.S., so I mean, kind of a big deal. So I took another week off. If you guys don't mind, we do deserve a break. We were on a good roll there for a hot minute. But yeah, I'm glad to be back on the ones and twos here at Rambling RunOff. Danny, how do you feel? How was your break the past 2 weeks?
It's been pretty good. You know what? Kind of did a lot in the past couple weeks. Built a new PC that you're hearing me on right now. Might sound exactly the same because I'm using the exactly same microphone, but I got a whole new setup. Live a little bit of life, you know. Doing pretty good. How was your break, Robert?
I mean, it was pretty chill. I mean, I did kind of go slow on the socials, if many of you had noticed. But I've been watching a lot of soccer. Let me see what else I've been watching. I always just end up watching a lot of soccer anyway, so. But yeah, it's been a good time. I know our last episode was right after the NBA Finals where the Denver Nuggets won their championship, and I mean, things have been kind of slow. I've been watching a little bit of baseball here and there, which we'll get to later on in our programming. But it's been a good time. 4th of July was fun. I was able to see El Tráfico, LA Galaxy versus LAFC, which was really fun, by the way. Which, to your dismay, was a sellout, by the way, Danny. So
damn,
it was a good time. How was your 4th of July?
It was pretty good. Went to brunch with some friends. Didn't do too many crazy things. Saw some fireworks. Went over to another friend's house. Just hung out, really. I did see photos and some videos of you at that game. Awesome. I saw you on the Jumbotron. Amazing. Oh, yeah, that was cool. Yeah, legit.
But yeah, man, it was a fun time out there at the Rose Bowl, and I'm glad I was there and glad that the LA Galaxy got the W as well.
Yeah, to the dismay of many LAFC fans.
That's right. That's how it should be.
Yep.
But I would just like to take a quick moment to recognize our newest followers on Instagram. Thank you so much for everybody who followed us on there. I really appreciate it. I know many of you probably got a message from me asking like, hey, just letting you know I have a podcast. Just throwing it out there. If you want to follow, if you're not into sports, it's all good. But any type of support helps. And thank you to those who I did message and followed back. I really appreciate it. I know, Danny, you were surprised when I told you, hey, go check out the numbers on our Instagram.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to y'all. It's great. Thank you for the support. Every little bit helps. Even if it's just your follow and you've seen it, you hear about Robert talk about it. It's great. It helps out the numbers, and hopefully we reach a little bit of a wider audience.
Oh yeah. So if this is your first time listening to Rambling RunOff, with me, Robert Rios, and Danny Tan, this is it right here. It's the two of us. Sometimes there's more of us. Sometimes we also do special episodes where we just talk about whatever sports all in one go, just one topic. And hopefully we haven't lost you yet, and you're still listening, either on your phone or in the car, or on your somehow radio that you may still have. But thank you so much for tuning in to Rambling RunOff. But Danny, are you ready to start rambling on some sports?
Yes, sir. Let's dive in.
Alrighty, guys. So basically, to also explain to our newer audience the way this works, we usually talk about two main sports topics, one smaller sports topic, doesn't really matter what it is really, and at the end we just kind of throw a bunch of stuff at the end. And in this week's first sports topic that we're going to go over, some soccer. We got the U.S. men's national team tearing it up this past summer with the first team, and I guess you could say their second team as well, which I'll go into detail in a bit. But about a month ago, the USA competed in the Nations League, where they met a very formidable foe, and the Mexican national team is Selección El Tri, as some people like to say, in which the U.S. were victorious 3-0 in a very heated battle, which had the game end 9v9.
Damn.
It was one clash for the ages. I mean, it was a real competitive game that they've had in a year basically. And yeah, the U.S. were victorious. We had goals by Christian Pulisic in the 37th minute, the 46th minute to start off the second half, and Ricardo Pepi added a third in the 78th minute. But Danny, I know you weren't able to watch this game, but I'll give you a quick run through. Basically, where it all started was that Mexico's Ariel Antuna picked up a yellow early on in the game, and then in which one USA's Gio Reyna got elbowed or shouldered in the face by Ariel Antuna.
Oh no!
Which
not a meta world peace move.
I mean, it wasn't aggressive. It wasn't like ferocious, but it was still illegal contact, which would have warranted a yellow card. Do you know what happens? Yeah. I'm testing your soccer knowledge. Do you know what happens when you get 2 yellow cards in soccer?
Turns into a red. You're out.
Yeah. So it should have been 11v10, in which the referee just stood there while Gio Reyna laid on the floor covering his nose because he started bleeding. So everyone was like, where's the yellow? The yellow card never came out. And at this point, I believe it was already 2-0. I believe the USA's newest acquisition, Folarin Balogun, he's from England.
You got it.
I believe he was going up against. Let me see. I have his name somewhere in here. Where are you at, my guy? I think it was Montes, who he was battling with.
Montes.
Oh, it was Cesar Montes. Yeah, in the 69th minute, he was battling with. Just got irritated because he felt like he got fouled, and just hacked the shack without his hand.
Not the hack a shack.
With his feet, Danny.
Damn.
And took out Balogun. And went instant red, but that just turned into a shit show instantly because it was one big scuffle.
Yep.
In which we saw Weston McKennie get pushed into the Mexico's bench, where he was crowded, and by the time he got out of the crowd, his jersey was partially ripped in the collar, and he was kissing the crest like, guys, it's 2-0. What are y'all doing? And then which the referee, I guess, got the call up from the instant replay crew in the rafters, and were like, hey, you're gonna have to give out another red, in which Weston McKennie was also given the red card in the 71st minute. So from that one hack-a-shack move from Cesar Montes on Balogun, we saw 2 reds, in which now the game was 10v10, all because the referee did not give a yellow to Ariel Antuna, because I'm pretty sure if he gave him that yellow, we would not have had this issue.
Damn.
So basically at that point, the ref had lost control of the game, in my opinion.
Damn.
And then in which I believe it was after the Ricardo Pepi goal, it gets better, Danny. In the 85th minute, Serginho Dest got into a little tussle with Gerardo Ortego. Yeah, and basically Dest lost the ball out of bounds. Ortego was going to throw it in, or one of his teammates was going to throw it in. But one of them pushed Dest, and then Dest was like, oh, hell no. So he pushed the other guy back, and that was when Ortego and Dest were both sent off with 2 instant reds, because they got into a shoving match on the other side of the field. And then basically all hell broke loose. You know, people started throwing shit on the field. And yeah. Like, I remember I was texting. I don't know if you remember, I texted you. I'm like, I came for a soccer game, and I left watching a boxing match.
Yeah, I think I do remember that text.
This game ended 9v9 with the final score USA 3 and Mexico's 0. I was also told to say by a new follower on Instagram that Mexico is ass.
Damn.
I was specifically told that there. Can you talk about how Mexico is ass? And I said, bet. So there you go.
There it
Mexico
is.
is ass. Because the USA outplayed El Tri significantly. Like, this game, they never stood a chance. Mexico had some chances, but I think like the 1 or 2 chances they had, they screwed it up themselves. I think Antuna had a chance to score off of a bad turnover by Matt Turner, the USA goalkeeper. And
Damn.
yeah, he hit it good, but he went wide left when he was on the right side of the goal, by the way. So it was just not a good day on for the Mexican national team. And yeah, the USA won that semifinal to go into the final. Just to go over some stats from the game, Pulisic, he redeemed himself from an earlier try in that first half, got his first goal. He had a solo run down the sideline, and he launched it over the bar, over everybody. But yeah, he was able to get it together. But since with that brace, he now has 25 international goals, pushing him past Joe Max Moore and into sole possession of 6th place of the U.S. men's national team all-time goal scorers list. He only trails Clint Dempsey, Landon Donovan, who both have 57, Josie Altidore with 42, Eric Ronaldo was 34, and Brian McBride was 30. Christian Pulisic also became the 5th U.S. men's national player to record 20-plus goals in official competition. He sits behind Clint Dempsey, Landon Donovan, Josie Altidore, and Brian McBride. The 24-year-old striker now has 4 goals all-time against Mexico, scoring them in each of his last 4 matches against El Tri. He's now tied with Aldo Buff Donelli for 3rd all-time amongst U.S. goal scorers amongst Mexico, trails only Landon Donovan and Michael Bradley. Pulisic is also just the 5th player to record a multi-goal game against Mexico following Aldo Donelli 4-2 W in 1934. Ed Murphy, Steve Morris, and Michael Bradley as well from 2009. So yeah, overall it was a good dominant game by the United States in that semifinal. And then yeah, they moved on to the final where they faced a lackluster Canadian team who were just using, in my opinion, excuses on why they couldn't compete, saying, well, we didn't know if we were going to face either Mexico or USA in the final, when all you had to do was beat Honduras in your semifinal. Like, come on, guys. Like, that's not an excuse.
Damn. Yep.
Well, you had more than a week. The coach is basically saying we only had a week to get ready for this game. That's malarkey. But to get into the final, the final score was, of course, USA 2-0 over the Canadians, who were also outplayed by the United States. It was a little scrappy in places for the U.S. I feel like Canada was like, we're going to just... What's like the saying? You're going to throw the shelf or throw the chair? Or, do you know what I'm talking about?
What?
What's the saying? There's like a saying. It's like, oh, I'm just going to throw the shelf. Is that
Throw
what?
the shelf?
Yeah.
The only one I know is throw the whole kitchen sink at it.
There you go. That's what I'm thinking of. We're throwing the kitchen sink. And we're just going to try to minimize Pulisic, minimize Gio Reyna, which they did get to Gio Reyna. But that's only because same thing kind of happened here. They got irritated, and they had to foul him. And that's what took him out. Like, he had a sprained ankle. Like, because Gio Reyna was making them look like fools out there. In which he was making even the Mexicans look like fools out there as well. So, Gio Reyna, even after all the controversy with the head coaching from Greg Berhalter prior, he's still balling. He's still young. He's showing why he deserves to be on this national team. And I think he's showing why he deserves to have a starting spot. Like, I think the U.S. men's national team with Tyler Adams, Musa, McKennie, like, they're all really good. But I think you got to have Gio Reyna in there somewhere. So it does make it kind of hard. I mean, I hate saying this. This is more or less our golden generation. But you need him on the field. I mean, even if he is a sub, but at least make him be important, you know? Like, in soccer, there's the term super subs for a reason. Like, Danny, basically in basketball terms, you have your 6th man.
Yeah.
You plug and play. And Gio Reyna is one of those guys. And hopefully he was able to show to the U.S. Soccer Federation that he's not... He's no one that you should fuck around with, you know? Like, he's there. He's the guy. He's that guy. So, all in all, the U.S. had a very good performance. Like I said, they outplayed the Canadians severely. I remember they had Charlie Davies, not Charlie Davies. Yeah, right. I'm probably saying the wrong fool, but they had Davies who kept switching on each side as like a winger because they wanted to see if he could outrun either of the defenders, which he couldn't, and that was basically more or less their only attacking threat. I think they had a few chances in the first half, but after that they resorted to the wonky tackling and the aggressive play because they just couldn't keep up with the U.S. The goal scorers on the night were Chris Richards in the 12th minute, and then Laurent Bologan was able to score his first national team goal for the U.S. in the 34th minute. Chris Richards becomes the first U.S. men's national player to score his first international goal in a final when he nodded in the corner, the homer, because that's a different topic for today. Of course, he got the assist from Gio Reyna. And then, Laurent Bologan became the second player to score his first international goal in the final when he finished off a feed from Gio Reyna, which was a really good through ball, by the way. So, Gio Reyna getting 2 assists. Bro, he's just balling out. He's that good. Gio Reyna was just beast in both these fixtures. I mean, I can't stop talking about the guy. I know Christian Pulisic, probably my favorite player from the U.S. men's national team. He's an all-out baller, but Gio Reyna is just from another planet, honestly. So, I think both the Canadians and the Mexicans got annoyed. You had to take him out. You couldn't contain him. But that was that. The U.S. are your CONCACAF Nations League champions.
Ooh.
After the match, Christian Pulisic was named the CONCACAF Nations League best player, and goalkeeper Matt Turner of the United States took best goalkeeper honors. This was Turner's second such recognition, having also claimed the trophy following the 2021 Gold Cup. Matt Turner made 4 saves to earn his 19th clean sheet and his 28th overall cap. The shutout was also his 15th in official competition, moving him past Brad Kuzan into sole possession of third in the competitive shutouts among U.S. men goalkeepers. He now stands behind only Casey Keller and Tim Howard. Casey Keller was 34 and Tim Howard was 29. And those guys were no slouches in goal for the U.S. as well. So he's in good company for a guy that almost became a pro baseball player and started playing soccer his senior year in high school. So, that's the men's national team for the Nations League. The first team, Tim Weah was great. Weston McKennie was great. I know I'm going to keep running his name down. Gio Reyna, Pulisic, making his great comeback in that first game after his very bad miss. Anthony Robinson's been great. They were missing Tim Ream. Yeah, he picked up a knock. But even with missing a piece in the back line, the U.S. were able to be sound defensively and, in transition, just get the ball rolling and, get goals, So I loved it all. It gave this young kid, hope going into Copa America and the World Cup in the future. And even also the Olympics are also coming up. So hopefully we get a good squad going there as well. But I am not done with the U.S. men's national team, because then what happened a week later, Danny? What did we got? What did we have next?
That's a great question. We had the Gold Cup.
Yes, the Gold Cup, or for my Spanish speakers, El Copa Oro. So the Gold Cup, a little bit different from Nations League. Actually, a lot different. For one, it's like a full-on tournament, group stages, knockout rounds. And then the biggest difference was that we had quintessentially our backups. So there was no Pulisic, there was no Gio Reyna, there was no Weston McKennie. Let me see. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. Can't even write it down. Oopsie. Gianluca Busio. You had guys like Zendejas. You guys had Jordan Morris, Roldan. I'm trying to think. Sean Johnson as goalkeeper. You also had Jalen Neal from the LA Galaxy, who got his first call-up and a first good first team, but it's technically first team competitive competition minutes. So shout out to Jalen Neal. So yeah, you had a lot of young faces, a lot of new faces in there. Old faces as well who haven't gotten a call up in a while, who are representing the U.S. currently in the Gold Cup, which is happening as we speak. For the U.S. in their group stage, they had to face Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Trinidad and Tobago. In the first match, they did look really rocky against Jamaica. They went down 1-0, but then late in the 80th minute, close to the 90th minute, excuse me, the U.S. did get a surviving goal to tie up the game 1-1. So the U.S. didn't go empty-handed. They got the point, and they got the point and not a loss, because that would have not been good. Yeah, Brandon Vasquez, in the 80th minute, was able to get the tying goal. Saving a lot of stress for many U.S. men's national team fans. But after that, they went up against St. Kitts and Nevis, and Jesus Ferreira went off, scoring 3 goals for a hat trick. This was never going to be a competition, honestly, against St. Kitts and Nevis. This is their first time in a competitive match. It was originally, I think, it was supposed to be Nicaragua, but they had a call out, fortunately. So we had goals by Georgi Mihailovic, who had 2 goals, 12th in the 79th, and then Brian Reynolds in the 14th minute. So the U.S. got 3 points and 6 goals against St. Kitts and Nevis. Then in the next game, Jesus Ferreira again against Trinidad and Tobago, getting a hat trick, a first half hat trick, which to my knowledge had never been done before, by the way. I think he's the first American to score back-to-back hat tricks in competitive matches. The only other guy to ever get so many hat tricks, but not even in quick succession, was Landon Donovan. So he's in good standing with names. Ferreira, he had his 3 goals in the 14th, 38th, and the 45th minute, which was a penalty. Then after that, Cade Cowell got a goal in the 65th, Gianluca Busio in the 79th, and then Brandon Vasquez, who also up top, got a goal in the 90th minute. So it's good all for the U.S. going into the quarterfinals. But up until this weekend, as of this recording, the U.S. faced Canada again, who I believe took their first team into this Gold Cup. And this time, yes, the U.S. did struggle against this Canadian team. It was pretty bad. According to Fox pundit Alexi Lawless, that was the worst soccer he's seen in a very long time. The first half, at least, because he was watching the highlights and went from the whistle blowing to the 70th minute. Because he said it was that bad. Because there was nothing to cheer for. There was nothing developing on both sides of the ball. So, yeah, I was able to watch the game as well. And, yeah, it was pretty bad. You had Zendejas, who he's been giving chance after chance, and it's not happening. It's not rolling. So, the U.S. in the last dying moments subbed on Brandon Vasquez. And I think, the 80th minute, as well. He gets a lot of goals late in games because he's tall and he's able to get the headers. And the 88th minute got the goal for the U.S. And you would have thought, it's over in regulation time. But no, I think not. I think it was Miles Robinson. Oh, man, he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. He was pressing too hard on the Canadian attacker in the penalty area, and his hand just happened to swipe the ball. Gave the Canadians a penalty, and Steven Victoria, put the goal away in the 90th minute, 93rd minute, and for the penalty to go into overtime, or extra time, Danny. And then that, Jacob Schaffelberg for the Canadians got them up 2-1 in the 109th minute. And then, bro, at this point, I had to leave my house. I had to go do some errands. Bro, I'm in the clothing store almost having a heart attack watching this on my phone. I didn't appreciate that because I was stressing balls. I'm like, I don't need this in my life right now, bro. But just out of dumb luck, the U.S. just kept pushing, and Gianluca Busio took a shot. It bounced off the keeper, and it bounced off his own defender. It bounced off of Scott Kennedy, counting as an own goal in the 114th minute of the game, Danny.
What a choke.
It's because so our guy, Busio, took the shot. The goalie blocked it, but then it ricocheted off of his own defender, and it went in.
Oh, my God.
Hey, man, they all
Such
count
a choke, man.
It all counts the same, buddy.
God damn it.
But, hey, this is what happens when you got a good leader as a goalkeeper who voluntarily asked to be in the Gold Cup, by the way. So you had your first team goalkeeper at the moment, Matt Turner, asking the interim head coach, BJ Callahan, I want to play in the Gold Cup. And this is where this guy fucking stood on his head and blocked the first 2 Canadian shots in the penalty shootout. And then Brandon Vasquez missed his first shot. I'm like, gosh, fucking damn it. But luckily, he was able to stop. He was able to get the Canadian to miss a third one, in which the U.S. went home handily, winning it the penalties 3-2. So, in the words of Hercules Gomez from ESPN Americas, or Football Americas, excuse me, this was the USA's get out of jail free card game. Even though I would argue the Jamaica game was, considering Jamaica had a good team and they were giving it to them and they only tied it on a last second goal. But the US right now with their backups doing okay. As of this recording, they will face Panama in the semifinal on Wednesday, July 12th, whenever you're listening to this, at Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1, Univision, and TUDN Deportes. So, if you're listening to this, hopefully the USA did win. I'm hoping for a big comeback from Jesus Ferreira, who kind of went cold in the Canada game. And yeah, I just hope that the U.S. kind of gets their shit together. I think their back line in the Canada game was just a little caught off guard from the Canadians, who were just pounding them every time they could. And the right backs and the center backs were struggling out there. But hopefully they kind of, after this little break for over the weekend, they, get it a little bit together and they could beat this Panamanian team. Because it's either, if they win this game, they're either going to face Mexico or Jamaica. Which Mexico looked pretty good in their last game against Costa Rica. I think they won 2-0. And Jamaica has just been looking solid. They have a lot of players that play in the MLS and the Caribbean. So yeah, and like I said, I'm hoping for a good game from Jesus Ferreira, the striker. We need, and Danny, he got a sick-ass nickname because you know how they beat those 2 Caribbean teams 6-0, and he scored 2 hat-tricks, right? He got the nickname, the Pirate of the Caribbean.
The Pirate of the Caribbean.
Dude, that's a badass nickname, in my opinion.
That is a good one.
But, yeah, hopefully the USA gets the semifinal win over Panama. So if you're listening to this recording, the USA will play Panama in the semifinal in the Gold Cup Wednesday, July 12th on FS1 at 7:30 p.m. Eastern on Univision and TUDN, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So what is that, 4:30 Western time? Yeah, right, Danny?
7 p.m. you said?
Yes, Eastern.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So 4:30 p.m. Western time. Okay, guys. But yeah, I am done talking about the U.S. men's national team. So go USA. Danny, are you ready to
USA?
Are you ready to move on to our next segment?
Of course. Always ready.
So yeah, to our new people as well, we do talk a lot of basketball on this programming. When we can, and we weren't initially going to do basketball, but since we did take 2 weeks off, we did miss a little bit, in which Danny loves basketball, and he will be kind of going over some stuff with us. Over the past 2 weeks, we did have the NBA draft, which was kind of a big deal. There's apparently an international star from France, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who has just
the French croissant.
He's taken over the league semi by storm, not too much. I'll give my opinions on him in a bit, but his name goes by Victor Wembanyama. He was playing in France for Metropolitans 92.
Yep.
Am I on the right track, Danny?
Yes, sir.
He was the highly talented, scouted player for the NBA, in which he was taken in the first round in the NBA draft for 2023. He was taken by the San Antonio Spurs. So he plays center, correct?
Yes. He's a bit of a, NBA people always used to like to use the word unicorn, but he's a tall 7-footer, lanky, knows how to dribble the ball. Looks like he's got a shot. He's got nearly a 10-foot reach. I'm talking vertical reach, FYI, not wingspan. But yeah, he's a little bit of a generational talent. You'll hear that word being thrown around a lot. But yeah, taking it number 1, no surprises here.
Yeah, I did see that. I saw an ESPN article looking up info on him that even LeBron James is like, yeah, like this guy's, he could be the next guy.
Yeah, he can be special.
Going over some stats for Wembanyama, he has played as his stats through May 16. He played 32 minutes. He averages 21.6 points. He has a 47% field goal percentage. He shoots 3-pointers at 27%. Free throws at 82%, which is actually pretty good for a tall guy. He averages 10 rebounds, 2.4 assists, 3 blocks, a few steals, and what's TO?
Turnovers.
He averages 2 turnovers, which is may or may not 2.6, yes, which could be nothing. Which, by the way, do you like the stats I pulled up, Danny? You like this?
Yes, I do like the stats. They're a little bit skewed because European ball is a little bit different than American ball. But as of this recording, Victor Wembanyama has played 2 Summer League games, and looks like he's going to be pulled from the roster for the remainder of the Summer League. And his first game, I don't know if you saw that, Robert, but bit of a dud. Had people starting to scream. Had people sweating that the number 1 pick was going to be a flash in the pot, flash in the pan, and disappear. But he had 9 points, I believe 3 rebounds, had terrible field goal percentage. But over the weekend, on Monday, people got shut the hell up when he dropped 27 on the heads. And yeah, after a 27-point showing, he was apparently pulled from the roster just in case he's injured, and sounds like he's going to bulk up. And also some additional news, Greg Popovich signed a 5-year deal with the San Antonio Spurs. Hopefully he lives to see the end of those 5 years. But it looks like him and Victor Wembanyama are going to be a paired duo. We'll see how it turns out. But great to see the Frenchman go under a Hall of Fame coach, and we'll see how he develops.
First off, yeah, I mean, that's cool. It's another international talent. I hope he's not flashing the pan, because that'd be really bad for the league, because then everyone's just going to be trying to get international. I mean, you saw what the Bucks did with Antetokounmpo. You saw what Denver did with Jokic. You saw what the Mavericks did with the Slovenian guy, Jokic. So, yeah, I think I guess the NBA is going international, which, I mean, it's been a long time coming if you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, not that the NBA has never had good international talent. I mean, you've had people like Steve Nash, Yao
Dirk
Ming,
Nowitzki.
Yeah, Dirk Nowitzki. But yeah.
Tony Parker.
Yeah, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili.
A couple of Spurs legends.
I mean, this is just like something semi-new, because now it's not just like the role players. Like I would have said Manu Ginobili, he was really good, but I would have seen him as a role player. Like, you weren't going around being like, oh yeah, I want to be Manu Ginobili when I grow up. You got people wanting to be like Antetokounmpo. You want people being like Doncic. Like, what? Like, that's insane.
Yeah, like you said, it was only a matter of time that the international game caught up to the NBA. And these guys come in with, a certain special skill, talent, and they turn out to be stars even in the NBA. I think it's a trend. I think right now we're kind of at the middle. Every team's got a star, and about a quarter of them are international or something, along those lines. So I think this is like kind of the level off point of where stars will be. I think most people in the NBA are going to be homegrown. We'll see if it trends up or down. But I think this is like the plateau of where international stars kind of take over the NBA.
Danny, you almost forgot about your boy, the league MVP.
Oh yeah, Joel Embiid, of course.
Where's he from?
He's from Africa.
Oh yeah, there you go.
He's from Cameroon.
Cameroon, up in there. But yeah, hopefully he's good. I did see that first. Well, I didn't see the game, but I saw the stat line and the highlight. Well, low lights, I should say.
Yep.
Missing layups, missing open dunks, getting punked on
Yeah.
by severely undersized defenders.
Yeah.
And he looked like Taco Falls out there.
Oh,
like-
don't say Taco Falls, man.
What do you mean, bro? So I know that's why I was like, this is the man, because he's been wearing suits all this time, and I'm seeing him in an NBA basketball uniform, and like playing against reserve and secondary guys, getting balled up.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a good look. But yeah, I did see that 27 point stat line. I'm all right, I guess, but we'll have to see when he gets into real games. Because do you think a 40-year-old LeBron James is going to take him lightly? Do you think? Let me see. Do you think Butler is going to take him lightly? Let me see. Who do you think Antetokounmpo is going to look at him and be like, "The fuck are you?"
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
bro.
all these older vets are, they're going to give them a little bit of respect to start. If they find out that, the talent's not there, I think it'll be evident for the first meetings with a handful of teams. But, Summer League has always been under a microscope, too, for these new guys. And even second-year reserve guys like Chet Holmgren, number 2 pick last year, got injured in Summer League. This year he's trying to make a return. He looks stronger already. But I think Summer League is its own like microcosm. There's not very many people who in the Summer League do well and then come out and do great in the league, or vice versa. Stars like even my boy Trae Young did horrible in the Summer League, came out, developed, and is a all-star player now. So it's just here and there. Summer League is just its own thing, I think. It's fun to speculate and do all this stuff, but I don't think it should be taken too seriously about the future performance of any player, really.
I do agree, but I will also I think you would also agree with my statement by saying, although it shouldn't be taken seriously, you shouldn't be looking silly out there.
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
Then
That dunk on top of his head was insane. You should never let that happen.
Yeah, and then he's missing layups and open dunks. Like, what? Like that's not even him being good. That's just him messing up fundamentals. I mean, maybe he had some nerves, so it might be that.
I think it's a little bit of a adjustment to the game as well. To NBA high level game, where, and in the Summer League it's a little bit different than the regular season. People got more energy. Everyone's hungrier. So as soon as you get the ball, if you're a known player, you're getting doubled, tripled. They're attacking you right away. You don't really get the space to operate. And I think that's what we saw in the first game. But, yeah, like you said, you shouldn't be judged too harshly on your performance. But at the same time, you shouldn't be having embarrassing performances.
Exactly.
I totally understand what you're saying.
I mean, that's where all this sentiment was coming from. It's like, you guys drafted this guy number 1, and he's out here missing layups. Open layups.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just adjusting to the pace of NBA basketball. It's a little faster than European ball. Yeah,
How old
talk
is
about. I believe he's 23.
Oh, okay.
Let me double check that.
Oh, sorry. And I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you about to say?
No. He is 19. Jesus.
Yeah, I was about to say. I'm like,
He's a young kid.
I know he's
thought he was
young.
older.
He's
Damn.
fucking 7 foot tall.
God. 7'5", yeah.
Holy shit.
Yep.
I'm barely 5'5".
Yeah.
God damn. Anyways,
Yeah,
what were you about to say prior to figuring out how old he was?
Oh, I was just gonna say, they're talking about performing and underperforming. Moving on with the other draft picks, the number 2 pick, Brandon Miller, bit of a surprise, kind of, to people not following the NBA draft. Scoot Henderson and Victor Wembanyama were kind of back and forth for a while to be number 1 and number 2. I think most people agree that if Victor was not in this year's draft, then Scoot Henderson was definitely going to be the number 1 pick. But he ended up falling to 3, while Brandon Miller, drafted second overall, went to the Charlotte Hornets, coming out of Alabama. Brandon Miller entered the draft, relatively late, but he was anticipated to be, a little athletic, have a decent shot, and will be able to develop into a great wing role player. If not, be a great second star. I don't think people are giving him an all-star projection, but Brandon Miller started off kind of horribly. In his first 2 games, he had 25 points, but he also had 25 turnovers and personal fouls combined. So he wasn't doing too hot. But I mean, like I said again, the summer league is a summer league. It's like going from your graduation from senior year of high school. You take maybe a summer class, or you get into your first classes in college. It's a bit of a culture shock, especially if you haven't been adjusted and acclimated to the new level of self-study and all that stuff. You might get an F on your first test. Your first time in your life, or get a C and think, I'm doing better than I thought. But then the very next test, you get slapped in the face with an F. It just happens. You just gotta dip your feet in the water, feel the temperature, and adjust. So I think that's all summer league is. But what do you think about the second pick, Robert?
Well, I'm keeping it a buck. I don't know much about Brandon Miller, but he came out from Alabama, and last time I checked, Alabama is apparently a basketball school now. So
yeah, not just a football school.
I suppose the Hornets picked up a good guy. And I don't know much about Scoot Henderson. He's from the G League Ignite.
Yes, yeah, he's a G League Ignite. He is, from what coaches and people are saying, he's the most NBA ready player from this draft. Even including Victor Wembanyama. He has, a shorter frame than Victor. I believe he's 6'4", but he's built out. He's been playing basketball forever. He is super athletic. People are saying he has, a laser-focused, very mature for his age, mentality and drive. He really takes some inspiration from Kobe. He's in the gym early. He's focused. He seems like, from the comments of coaches and stuff, that he will be an all-star player eventually, right? He's probably the best player to come out of this draft, skill-wise. He's probably a plug-and-play guy, someone who would be great as a role player, great as a rookie to develop. So I believe he should have gone number 1 if that tall French freak wasn't in this draft. But he ended up falling number 3 and going to the Portland Trail Blazers, giving the league a little bit of a shakeup, because Portland was allegedly looking to trade that number 3 pick to get Damian Lillard some help up in Portland. But after they drafted Scoot Henderson and no trades were made with that draft pick, surprise, surprise, Damian Lillard asked for a trade, to my chagrin, out of Portland for the first time, deviating from his loyal history of standing by Portland and the Blazers franchise. So sad.
I told you.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but he picked a team that he wanted to go to, stating that he would like to be traded to the Miami Heat, even though he has no say in it.
I told you.
I think that is horseshit. He should be, if he wants to trade, leave it in the cards. He can totally say his say, but allegedly his agent has been rocking around the league saying, if anyone other than the Heat pick up Dame, you're going to get an unhappy, unproductive player, and it's not going to be a good time. So,
wow.
I don't like that kind of manipulation. If it is true, I think Dame does deserve to go to a team that he wants to be at, but I don't think that pushing an agenda or getting someone to go out and peddle your agenda does any benefit. Like, if the deal works out, the deal works out. It's going to benefit the Blazers to get you to where you want to go and get the best that they can from that deal. But if it's not the best deal, the Blazers are going to do what they got to do. You put yourself in this position when you signed a large contract with options for extensions and all this other stuff. So you just got to kind of deal with the consequences. But I believe Scoot Henderson is going to be a great player. I think he's going to be an all-star player. And he does remind me a lot of kind of shorter guards. He gives me a lot of, still a young guy, but Anthony Edward. He's shorter, but has a lot of strength in his drive. Is quick with his step. I think he's a little quicker than Ant. Looks like he's got a great shot. Has some great basketball IQ. Knows when to pass the ball. Knows when to ask for the ball. Knows where to be at. So I'm excited to see how the Blazers develop with or without Dame. If he's able to play with Dame, I think learning Dame's style a little bit and deciding to implement whatever he likes the most, and then leaving everything else on the table and developing his own style will be super beneficial. But running through the rest of these draft prospects, we got the Thompson twins going 4 and 5, the first brothers to go back-to-back in the NBA draft, in the top 10, I believe. We have Amen Thompson going to the Rockets from Overtime Elite. Then we have Asar Thompson, also coming from Overtime Elite, going to the Detroit Pistons. Amen Thompson is considered the better of the twins, which is so funny because they're twins. But he's considered to be a bit of a better passer. He's considered to be a playmaker, a better shot. Asar Thompson is considered to be a much better defensive player. I think that's just what happens when you're a twin and you're playing on the same team. You both can't play the same position or the same style. So one of you defaults to be, kind of a point type of guy, and then the other kind of either a center or more defensive. And that's just kind of how they split up. But great to see another set of twins in the league, and them going into the draft and coming out back to back. What do you think about that, Robert?
I think that's pretty cool. I didn't even know that. I just realized that they were twins. I just thought they had the same last name. But that's cool though.
Yeah. Great for them.
Moving on in the draft as well, the Magic drafted Anthony Black from Arkansas. Pacers drafted Bilal Coulibaly, also from Metropolitans.
Another Frenchman.
Traded to the Wizards. Then the Wizards draft Jarace Walker from Houston, traded to the Pacers. Sir. The Jazz drafted Taylor Hendricks from the University of Central Florida. And then rounding off the top 10, the Mavericks draft Cason Wallace from Kentucky, traded to the Thunder. But Danny, really quickly, how would you grade this early draft class of NBA players?
Yeah, super early to tell. There's quite a few guys to watch. I think this draft class has a lot of 3-and-D guys that are longer, lankier wing players that I think will develop quite well in the NBA. That's kind of lacking players that can fill that position well. I think the league is gonna, in a year or two, have a big hurt for great centers. So I think this draft class kind of lacked in that as well, other than the number 1 pick. But we'll see how he even develops. But overall, there's a lot of guys to watch. I like this class. On a scale to F to A, I would say this is a nice B. Had a couple of potential all-stars in there. A lot of people to watch. Another notable thing in this draft is Cam Whitmore, who is projected to go about number 4 or 5, fell to number 20 and got drafted by the Houston Rockets. He's another guy to watch. He allegedly has as his screen saver or his lock screen all of the teams and the coaches and the people who pass on him, all of their negative comments and all of their naysays as his lock screen, as motivation for him to prove them wrong. So he's another revenge. Maybe he'll turn into a Jordan type of guy, create enemies in his head and whatnot to to really up his game. But an interesting draft class this year.
Okay. And we're gonna try to quickly go through this NBA news as well. Apparently, there's a new tournament. It's being referred to as the NBA Cup, in which I will read to you how the format works for this season. There are 2 parts to the in-season tournament: the group stage and the knockout rounds. Every team was randomly drawn into a group of 5 teams within their conference. They will play 4 group stage games, facing each team in the group once. The 6 group winners will advance to the knockout rounds, along with 2 wild card teams, the team in each conference with the best record in the group stage games that did not win their group. Then there will be knockout rounds, which will be single elimination. Every group stage game and the quarterfinals and semifinals will count as a regular season games. The quarterfinals will be played in the market with the higher seeded team hosting, while the semifinals and championship will be played at a neutral location in Las Vegas. The championship game will not count as a regular season game. Players on the winning team of the championship win a grand total of $500,000. Just to let you guys know, there is more to it. If you make it to the quarterfinals, you do get another allocation or sum of money as well. Of course, it's smaller than that 500 grand. And I think the games will be taking place Tuesdays and Fridays. I'll just give you my quick opinion. Excuse me. I would edit that out. What I think about this tournament is that it seems cool, but is it necessary? As in, I feel like it works for other sports, but only because there's international competition, in here it's just the one league, the same teams. Are we gonna see teams playing their subs and their backups? I mean, it's gonna be kind of weird. I mean, coming from a soccer person, I'm used to seeing more than just the league and tournament games. So I don't know. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. Danny, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I like this tournament. I feel like kind of throughout the regular season, people, I think most people just watch the NBA playoffs, because that's when it matters. So I think this is in a attempt to bring in people who are only watching the games that count in the playoffs. But there's so much that lead up to that, and teams in the regular season have a habit of only playing their star players in games that matter, or having them play 10 minutes here and there. Doesn't make for great basketball. Trying to save your star guys for the playoffs, is understandable, but giving some stakes to some regular season games where most teams will start tanking, or maybe put their bench players, like you said, in, and kind of make for some boring basketball. Giving some incentive for them to win in a mid-season tournament like this is, I think, just going to draw more eyes and make the games a little more exciting.
Man, we'll have to wait and see. I believe the tournament starts November 6th and more or less goes through the length of the season. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this turns out and how teams approach the tournament.
Yep.
But alrighty, Dan, is that all you have to say about the NBA right now?
Yeah, we talked quite a bit about it. I think I'm ready for the warm-up, Robert.
Alrighty, we're going to hop into the warm-up, everybody. So, like I mentioned in the beginning, it's going to be more or less something random, or maybe something a little more important, which today kind of will be. There was the MLB 2023 Home Run Derby, which I was able to catch. It was interesting. It was very competitive this year. Usually you do get a swing off here and there in the home run derbies for the MLB All-Star Weekend. But there was none this year, but it was still competitive. Some highlights I like to point out. Ali Rutzman. Dude, Danny, this guy fucking switch hit at the home run derby.
Really?
So he hit like almost 20 or so left-handed, and then he hit another 7 or 8 right-handed.
Damn.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking insane, dude. I've never seen that. I'm like, bro, he did. I was tweeting the home run derby, right, on Rambling Runoff. Follow us on Twitter at Rambling Runoff. And I looked up, and this fool was on the other side of the plate. I was like, what the fuck? And yeah, I mean that was pretty cool. We had Mookie Betts from the Los Angeles Dodgers. He was just there for a good time. He only hit like 10 home runs.
Oh damn.
Which was the lowest. He was immediately eliminated, but it was also hard. I think he had to go up against Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's pretty good, by the way. So Mookie went up there. He didn't even take a timeout. I think. He didn't even take a timeout. But also, I don't think he liked who was pitching to him. I think because his pitching guy got hurt, so he had to get a new guy to pitch for him. And JD Martinez was doing like play-by-play for ESPN, like on the field. So the guys in the booth were like, JD, what does he got to do? He's like, he's got to swing it. He's got to hit it more to left. And then you can hear Mookie, I don't know how to do that.
Damn. As a professional, that kind of is rough, man. Jeez. Okay, you know how to sway to the left a little?
It's because I think basically how they select for the home run derby is like basically who's hit like the most home runs, basically.
Oh, I see.
Kind of like in the dunk competition. Or how they
but it's also on a volunteer basis, right?
Yeah, I mean, he could have opted out, of course. The only reason why he didn't do it is because his wife, and they interviewed her, they're like, is it true, like, you asked him to do this? She's like, yeah. He's like, I feel like he's won the World Series. He's a respected, and this is the reason why he's in the home run derby as well, like, because of his playing ability. He's a well-rounded player who knows, how to get the ball into play. He knows how to hit home runs, not intentionally like how these guys were doing it, like how most of the other batters were, but he knows how to get the ball over the fence. I think he has about 20 right now in the regular season so far. So it's a respectable number. But yeah, he was just there just to do it because she's like, I just wanted him to do it just so he could say I was there, and I did it, which you got to respect. I mean, he's won 2 World Series. He's won with the Sox, with the Red Sox. He's won with the Dodgers. And I mean, you might as well, right? Might as well be like, hey, I competed. See, like he has a 1-year-old or an infant right now. You can tell your kids like, hey, dude, I was in the home run derby. So I could respect that. I mean, I didn't want him to look silly out there, but it is what it is. He did it. He gave it his good try. But yeah, when you're going up against Vladimir Guerrero, it's gonna be an uphill battle.
Yep.
But yeah, let me see who else do we have here. The hometown guy. This year's All-Star Weekend Home Run Derby was in Seattle, home of the Seattle Mariners, in which they had Julio Rodriguez from the Seattle Mariners participating. He hit 41 home runs to win his first battle, Danny.
God damn.
I believe he's the youngest MLB player to do that, to hit as many home runs. Like, he went
41 is insane. I don't think I get 41 hits.
Yeah, dude, that guy was...
That's crazy.
He was knocking him out of the ballpark. Let me see. Do I have the stats somewhere? Because, yeah, I was like, who the hell is this guy? And he's young, too. And, like, he had everyone cheering his name. I mean, obviously, he's the hometown guy. So, of course, they're going to be cheering his name.
I mean, but that's great. What a great feeling that must have been.
No, yeah, dude. That shit was fucking insane. Yeah. Julio Rodriguez has the most home runs ever hit in a single home run derby. He passed Vladimir Guerrero's 40 in 2019.
Wow.
Dude, that's crazy.
Now, who, if I may ask, Robert, won this home run derby?
The winner of this year's MLB 2023 home run derby was Vladimir Guerrero, who defeated one eccentric Randy Arozarena. So we had where's Guerrero from? We had a dude. Let me see. I gotta look this up now. We had a guy from Cuba who represents the Mexican baseball team going up against a guy that plays in Canada named Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Oh, he's Dominican.
Should have guessed he plays baseball, man.
Yeah, I mean, what else he's going to do, Danny? So you had a Cuban guy who defected and begged the president of Mexico to let him play for the Mexican national team, to give him citizenship, because that's where he was playing ball before he came to the MLB.
Damn.
So he played in the Mexican League, then moved to Tampa Bay, but he was like, I was in the Mexican League for so long, let me play for the Mexican national team. Got permit, does that, and then he was going up against Vladimir Guerrero, who I think this was his first time winning. His dad actually won the competition like 2002, 2003, I think. 2005 maybe. It's been a while. And yeah, dude, that's insane. I like this year's home run derby. I think it happened too quick. They were behind schedule a bit because it was supposed to end at 7, ended like at 8. But I think what was wrong was like the ESPN production was all over the place. Like they weren't even showing the home runs.
What?
Like
You should be super cutting all the home runs together. Like really.
like, cause I mean it was live, but like the problem was like they would hit a ball, and then the camera would like they would cut to another camera. But like some of these fools were going fast, but it was like just show the ball, like just show them hitting the ball from an angle, cause then you can't see when the ball hits off the bat. And by the time you do, the ball is already landing, and he's already hitting the next ball. I don't know. I feel like it was kind of an awkward production, in my opinion, by ESPN. Because I didn't know what was happening half the time. And most of the batters were all right-handed as well. I'm like, dude, just show one angle. Like, we want to see the velocity. We want to see how far it went. We're not seeing any of that. Like, all we got are the commentators saying, oh, it's in the second deck. Like, okay, by the time they show it, the dudes are already catching it. Like, we didn't get to, like, see the ball come down or nothing. Like, you didn't get to, like, enjoy it, you know, as a television viewer.
Yeah. So
that was my only gripe with this year's home run derby. But shout out to Vladimir Guerrero winning it all. They had Marshawn Lynch come out. He brought out the trophy.
Marshawn Lynch.
And he also brought out this big ass Seattle like spinner keychain.
Yeah.
And I shit you not, for a second, I thought he was about to roll one up. On the field. No, it was chapstick.
My God.
It's because he reached for his pocket and he got this brown thing. And he like twisted it, and he put it on his lips. And they had the camera on him for like a hot second. And I was like, "What is he doing?" I'm like, "Oh, it's chapstick." I was like, but it wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised though. It's Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah, he'll do whatever, man.
He's
been all over the place as of late.
Have you seen? Well, I mean, he's retired. Have you seen the clip where he's talking to Eli Manning, and he's like, before the games, I'll get, I'm chilling. I'll have a snack, take a shot, and get ready. And Peyton Manning's like, take a shot, like of Gatorade. He's like, no, of Hennessy.
Damn.
Taking a shot.
Payne's like, what the hell?
And Payne's like, oh, my bad. He's like, yeah, man, taking a shot of Hennessy, bro. But back to the baseball. So I mean, the home run derby. I mean, it's always electric. Yeah, I think Rosarena. I think he needed 4 to tie, 5 to win it, and he had 30 seconds of bonus time. I kind of wanted Rosarena to win it because he was walking around in his cowboy boots. Not at his at-bats, but like in between, he had his cowboy boots, and he had his kid on the field, and he was doing like his signature pose. Basically, his signature pose is like a deep cross arm, and like he kind of leans back. And even Vladimir Guerrero kind of taunts it. I mean, they're chill. He like did it back to them, and they both did it like Spider-Man, like like copycat style, like copycat Spider-Man. Yeah. So I mean, it was a good time. Hopefully next year, I don't recall where next year's MLB Home Run Derby All-Star Weekend will be, but hopefully they kind of do a little bit of a better job. I mean, they literally had at Dodger Stadium the year before, so I wonder what happened. Like, did you guys just not want to be in Seattle? I mean, you guys had Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. up in that bitch. Like, come on, guys. Like, I don't think it's that hard for y'all to have a good production, to have a good showing. But yeah, I don't know, Danny, were you able to see any of the highlights of the home run derby?
No, sir, I was not. But it sounds like a great time. I mean, I'm definitely gonna tune in, watch those highlights, and tune in next year though.
No, yeah, I mean, you have the players on the sideline doing some commentary. You had one dude, I don't think he spoke Spanish, but like all the teammates he was around all spoke Spanish. So he'd be like, oh, he asked I think it's Juan Soto from the Padres. He was like, do you miss it? He's like, huh? He's like, do you miss the home run derby? He's like, in Spanish, he's like, nah, I already won it. I'm good. I'm fine just being here, just having a good time. And then he looks at the camera and he's like, all right, commentators, you guys got all that, right? Cause they had they had one of the I forgot his name. One of the commentators speaks Spanish, and yeah, that's I don't know. It was just funny.
That's funny.
Especially that Mookie Betts one, JD Martinez. He just gotta hit it because they were talking to him in the earphone. He's like, what does Mookie gotta do? He's like, he just gotta line him up to the left. Mookie, I don't know how to do that. Come on, guys. That was fucking hilarious.
That's so funny.
But I digress. I just want to talk about the Home Run Derby because I've always appreciated watching it. Sometimes I had my grandparents watch it, so it's just fun,
Yeah.
But yeah, Danny, are you ready to move on now?
Yes, sir.
That
Let's
was
get
our
into the
warm-up
rundown,
topic.
baby.
Yeah, the rundown. Get ready for the rundown, everybody. It's gonna happen a little quick, but hope you guys are ready for wherever else we got on tap. For this week's rundown news, and about I believe 8 or 7 days as of this recording, the FIFA Women's World Cup will be starting. This year's Women's World Cup will be happening in Australia and New Zealand, dual host for this 2023 edition of the Women's World Cup. The U.S. women's national team are primed to defend their World Cup crown, having won each of the last 2 FIFA tournaments, beating, I know they beat Japan, and I think they beat Netherlands in the final. So hopefully they have a good showing. They are set on to take the Netherlands, Portugal, and Danny, your favorite, Vietnam, in the group stage of the 2023 Women's World Cup.
Vietnam. I mean, I gotta
What?
root for USA, but sometimes I root for Vietnam. I mean, the southern part, of course. Shout out to the Southern Vietnam.
The U.S. women's national team will be looking to extend a strong tournament record as well. You catch all these games on Fox, Telemundo in Spanish, and on Peacock. The U.S. groups, they are in Group E. As mentioned, in about 8 days, the tournament will start. Their first game will be Friday, July 21st, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. They will face Vietnam at Eden Park in New Zealand. Then their next match would be Wednesday, July 26th, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, against the Netherlands, USA versus Netherlands, in Wellington Regulatory Reg Stadium, also in New Zealand. And then their actual late game will be Tuesday, August 1st, 3 a.m. Eastern, 12 a.m. Pacific, in Eden Park once again, in Auckland, New Zealand. So luckily, they're not going to be doing a lot of traveling, which I think good decision by FIFA not having teams cross over oceans and borders over the next 3 games. So yeah, shout out to the U.S. women's national team. Hopefully they can get the dub over there. Some of my favorite players: Alex Morgan, Rose Lavelle, Trinity Rodman, Alyssa Thompson from Angel City FC. I'm hoping they have a good time out there. I heard Trinity Rodman came into their send-off game against Wales and scored 2 goals, so hopefully she does well here as well. And one other thing, Megan Rapinoe, prior to the U.S. leaving to the World Cup, announced that she will be retiring from international football and the World Cup, and also retiring in the NWSL after this season. So shout out to you, Megan Rapinoe. You've done a lot in these past 10, 12 years, as much as I've known you, on and off the field. So shout out to you and your career, and to wherever your future endeavors take you. Hello, Danny, are you there? Do you have any other closing remarks?
Shout out to you, another great female athlete retiring. Man, it's a turning of a new era. I think for women's sports, especially. I mean, we're kind of seeing kind of the fall of the old tennis legends as well, in both male and female. But I think it's a turning of a new page in female athletics, in the professional realm at the very least. Yeah, I mean, shout outs to you.
No, yeah, I'm hoping a good performance from Rapinoe, and hopefully that the U.S. women's national team, goes out on the bang and gets it done. They're trying to win a 3-peat, so kind of nothing that's ever been done before. Yeah, USA versus Vietnam, July 21st. USA versus Netherlands, July 26th, and USA versus Portugal on August 1st. So yeah, I'm gonna try to watch those games. Hopefully we could try to tweet. I mean, they're late, so I won't be doing much at that time. Hopefully.
Yep.
But yeah, go USA, and hopefully they win. They win
USA.
again. Once again, you can catch all these games on Fox, Telemundo, and Peacock. Moving on in the rundown, we got some NASCAR news. Yeah, we do talk some motorsports here. I know for our constant listeners, I know we've missed some days, of course, from the race weeks, but just catching up to as of late. Shane Van Gisbergen won the first ever Chicago street race, which I think was the first street race in general for NASCAR. I'm bringing this up because, Danny, people were mad because they paid like $200 to get a seat. But like I said, it was a street race. So you had people standing on boxes and electrical components, seeing it for free.
Yeah. People pay $200. Damn.
And I would probably say those people seeing it for free standing on electrical boxes probably got a better seat.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And the funny part was that it was rain delayed.
Oh, damn.
So shout out to Shane Van Gisbergen, because he's not a usual racer. I think he barely got on to the NASCAR season, because I think it was a street race. He's like, that's my alley, so might as well sign up for this one. So shout out to him. And then Danny, catching up to this past weekend's results. Your boy, William Byron, wins the Quaker State 400. Due to technicality, they ended up stopping the race due to weather. So this is his fourth win of the season, and yes, he did wear a big hat. The next race in the NASCAR calendar will take place Sunday, July 16th, 2:30 p.m. Eastern, for the Crayon 301 or 301 race. The race is at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and you can watch the race on the USA Network. Hopefully there's no weather delay there as well. That's the second weekend in a row where they've had issues with the weather. But moving on, back
Mother Nature don't want NASCAR.
Yeah, I know, right? Moving on, the WNBA, a little more basketball news for you, Danny, and our final thing on here. The WNBA All-Star 2023 will be played in Las Vegas at Michelob Ultra Arena. Michelob? How do you say it? Michelob Ultra? Michelob Ultra, excuse me. Michelob Ultra Arena.
My God, dude.
I don't know. I don't drink that beer.
Jesus.
I drink Modelo. Modelo time, fool. Check yourself.
Heineken, baby.
Michelob Ultra Arena, home of the defending WNBA champions Las Vegas Aces, on Saturday, July 15th at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so 8:30 Eastern, and will be centered piece of 2 days packed with WNBA activities. This marked the third time Las Vegas will host the WNBA's mid-season showcase, most recently in 2021. So here's the schedule as follows. On Friday, July 14th, some of the league's biggest and brightest stars will display their talents at the 2023 edition of the WNBA Starry 3-Point Contest and Kia WNBA Skills Challenge at 1 p.m. Pacific Time. So 4 p.m. Eastern. Then on Saturday, July 15th, the AT&T, not a sponsor, WNBA All-Star Game will be played at Michelob Ultra Arena again, home of the defending champs, the Las Vegas Aces, at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time on ABC, on your local ABC network. And I'm going to read you over the starting lineups as of now. We got Team Aja Wilson. So Aja Wilson playing, of course, for the Las Vegas Aces. Then we have Chelsea Gray from the Aces. Jackie Young from the Aces. Aaliyah Boston from the Indiana Fever. Then we got Ariki Amguwale from the Dallas Wings. I just saw her highlights the other day. She's pretty good. Then on the other side, we got Team Brianna Stewart. She will also be starting, of course. She plays for the New York Liberty. Then we got Brittany Griner, Phoenix Mercury, who just dunked the other day. Shout out to her. We also got Drew Lloyd from the Seattle Storm, Satu Sabali from the Dallas Wings, and then finally we got Neke Agumike, one of those two, from the Los Angeles Sparks. Once again, you can catch this year's WNBA All-Star Game, tipping off at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific on Saturday, July 15th, 2023. You can watch it on your local ABC channel. But yeah, Danny, do you have anything else to add in our rundown, or you want to say anything You want to explain why your fan was on this whole time? Towards the second half of the show?
It is hot as hell.
Yeah, I know. I'm sweating.
Yeah, I am sweating. It is so hot. So my apologies if you hear it running in the background and whatnot. It's just too damn hot to not be turning on the fan. So my apologies, but yeah, it's too hot. Brain is starting to melt.
Do you have anything sports related to say before your brain turns to goo?
Sports related. I am trying to get back into golf. I'm excited for these NBA rookies. I think most of the top 10 are either now, unfortunately, injured, or they're going to be pulled from the summer league and given some time to develop, hit the weight room and whatnot. I will be trying to watch some more soccer, maybe some baseball, maybe possibly go to a Dodger game, or as my friend put it, watch Shohei Ohtani, the Michael Jordan of baseball right now, even though Michael Jordan did play baseball. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited just for summer sports. Hopefully it doesn't get too hot. But yeah, I'm super excited. What about you, Robert? Any last words?
Really quick, I'm gonna be trying to post some type of running vlog / sports update videos on TikTok. So
hell yeah,
we'll try to get. I'll get into that later. No spoilers right now. But yeah, I think that's everything we got. Should I start wrapping it up?
Yes, sir. Do what you do.
Alrighty. Thank you for listening to Rambling Runoff. If you're listening on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button. It really does help us. I mean, everyone says it. It helps everybody, basically. Subscribe and like the video. If you're on Spotify, if you're one of our new listeners listening, thank you. If you're on Spotify, give us a 5-star rating. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. What else are we on, Danny?
Apple, Google, Stitcher.
Oh, Stitcher no longer exists, by the way.
Oh, that's right. Fuck.
R.I.P. to Stitcher.
God.
Amazon Music.
Yes,
Sorry,
Amazon Music.
My brain's starting to melt as well. But yeah, and
just
then
everywhere you can find your podcast, we're there.
Yeah, basically. And if you want to hear more from us on social media, we are on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok sometimes. You can find us all at Rambling Runoff. So Twitter, Rambling Runoff, at Rambling Runoff. Instagram, at Rambling Runoff. And on TikTok, at Rambling Runoff. Yes. So, wrapping it up here, I've been your host. For Danny Tan, my co-host. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Have a good day. See ya.
Peace.